After 2022, or rather after 2020, India have done it again. In 2024 Paris Olympics, India winning a bronze in the men's hockey 2-1 victory over Spain. And this is actually the first time that they've managed since 1972 to win success in hockey at the Olympic Games. So a day of some celebration, and it was much required for the Indian contingent after what had been a dramatic August 7th, the day that Vinesh Phogat and unfortunately her way in, the failed way in which happened, which had pretty much sunk the entire country into a little bit of depression, so to speak. However, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, because just to give you a quick update, that particular decision has been challenged at the Court of Arbitration in Sport, and they have actually accepted to have a hearing tomorrow, which is expected to be at 10 a.m. local time. So that will be about 1:30 p.m. India time for those who are tuning in, or for those who are trying to follow the news. So there is still a possibility that there might be some sort of a respite for Vinesh. There might be, who knows if there'll be a medal at the end of it at all or not. But certainly the Indian men will soon be visible at the medal ceremony once the final is played out between Netherlands and Germany, who are contesting right now for the final for the gold medal. And who knows? Maybe this will spark an absolute revolution of sorts in Indian hockey, because it has been a long, long time coming. Of course, that 2020 medal breaking a drought which was 41 years old in terms of India not just making the semifinals, but also winning any sort of medal as well. So well, there's lots to talk about, and I personally felt that this was a pretty decent campaign. I must give a full disclaimer that ever since I've pretty much moved more into a sphere where I do more cricket, I've not had the time or the bandwidth to be able to follow too much of hockey. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, in relative terms, how they've been performing over the last 3 years or so, maybe even more. But it was still quite interesting to watch most of the games which I was able to watch this campaign. And what was noticeable was how defensively solid the Indian team was. I think Craig Fulton, the head coach, deserves a lot of credit, and that surely would be a promise of greater things to come. And of course, what was most impressive in this whole campaign was not just the fact that they won against Australia, but I thought the game of the tournament was the one that they put up against Great Britain, the way that they played. And I'm quite actually happy that I'm joined by Jimmy Bhogal, who himself has been quite well associated with hockey. Jimmy, you will notice that I'm wearing actually the Indian T-shirt from the jersey from the 2018 World Cup, which us scribes were given by Hockey India. So kind of them. And just your first thoughts. I must start by saying that I just went through your timeline today. So you're pulling off a Srijesh, aren't you? You've also decided that Give Me Hockey will no longer be a full website.
Uh, yeah, I mean, though I didn't announce it a month earlier, I announced it like a year earlier. But somehow the love for this game, love for this Indian team pulled me back again for the Olympics. But yeah, uh, you know, after working for a long time, writing for a long time, microblogging for a long time, you somewhere get tired. You don't have that much energy to go on. So yeah, tomorrow I think hopefully after the women's game, I will be away for it as much as I can be. I can't promise that I will go away forever. I tried doing it last time, it didn't work. But yeah, hopefully I'd like to watch this game as a fan now, which was ideally it was supposed to be when I first started watching the game. Hopefully, yes, that fandom will continue for me.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is the love for the game which pulls us back. So your first thoughts, because I noticed that you mentioned you were in a meeting and you wanted to dance. So how did you respond when India won the successive bronze medals? I mean, for an entire generation of us who've grown up with, I mean, they've all been legends, but we've grown up with a sort of
Hmm.
certain degree of disappointment, which is like a default mode. So how did it feel to win a second successive bronze?
So it was a very important meeting that I was in. There was no way I could have taken a leave of work for today. So I told one of my teammate to ping me, keep on pinging me what's happening. I told my wife to let me know what's happening. They kept on texting me, there's a goal, there's a penalty corner, there's so though I was not in front of the screen for most of the second half, but I could see what was going on. And see, I personally never expected India to win a bronze this time. I would have been very happy if we had, reached the quarterfinals and gone out of the quarterfinals, because the way I had seen the team progressing, I was not expecting the India to do it. But when, when the final hooter rang, India won the bronze. You saw Srijesh, lying down on the field. Nothing could be bigger than that. As you were rightly talking about, our generation, since the time I started watching hockey, the most things that we have seen is defeat. Defeat after defeat, defeat after defeat, and to win back-to-back bronze medal, I think that's the biggest gift that this hockey team could give us as a fan. I love it. I mean, I'm really, really, really happy with the way the team played.
Yeah, in fact, I think it's fair to say, I'm sure you'll agree, that their last five performances showed a team which had consistency and it was always on the uptake. They did lose to Belgium in that process. They did lose to Germany, but neither of those performances was anything to be, to be ashamed about. They fought right well, and ironically enough, I mean, you didn't watch the game, but today was probably the worst of those five performances. So,
Yeah, so I had a chance to see, the extended highlights.
yeah,
See, if I have to talk about today's game, uh, I could feel that both the teams didn't want to play this match. Obviously, you have
yeah,
lost your semifinals, you have lost a chance to win a gold medal. You wouldn't be so enthusiastic in playing this
yeah,
match. So the way that you see the first half, the first quarter went, the people were not so I mean, the players were not so happy playing that game. But once they went 1-0 up, 2-0 up, you could see the spark coming back in the players. And I would totally agree, this was the worst game of the tournament for India. If I have to talk about my favorite game, I think it would be against Germany. We lost the game, but
yeah,
that's the best hockey I have seen India play in since last World Cup.
yep,
Um, the one thing that I really liked about the team is, when they went into the tournament, you had couple of the game against Argentina, the game against New Zealand, and even Ireland. Uh, the team wasn't linking up right. Team wasn't doing all the things right, but suddenly in the game against Belgium, you could see them, performing beautifully. Then came the game against Australia. I mean, I never expected India to beat Australia. The way we have seen the Indian team in last 20-25 years, it's hardly, you can count it on your fingertips that the times that India has beaten Australia. Then comes the game against Great Britain. That was once again a brilliant defensive hockey that I have seen. And then came the game against Germany. That was the best hockey that Indian team played in this tournament.
yeah. I think we can touch upon each performance individually, but just to give a little bit of context for laypersons who might be tuning in, who may not watch or follow hockey so much, we do see it sometimes in football that a player gets sent off and you still eke out a result in your favor. But just to give them some context, that in hockey it's virtually impossible. I remember even on television, Viren Raskina saying that it is virtually impossible. So it's pretty much a 1 in 100 chance that you will still compete and not lose a game where you're down one player, and then you go on and take the lead. So that tells you about the fortitude of this team, and I think that also tells about the character which Craig Fulton has been able to instill in this side.
Uh, Absolutely. The team, when we went down, Amit Rohit Das was sent off. My thought was, Craig Fulton has asked the team to play a defensive role. Team is going to go on full defense. I was speaking to a couple of people, some of one of them being an FIH coach. That person told me that no, India is going to go on an offense. But the way the defensive performance that we saw the Indian team doing, yes, I have an issue with the Great Britain team. The way they played, they were out of ideas. But the way India packed their defense, the way Mandeep Singh was the first line of defense. The way he presses, the way he makes everyone moving the ball difficult. That was the best defensive performance of the entire tournament. It's not just about India, it's not just about Great Britain, but if you see, it's the entire tournament. That's the best performance anyone has ever given in this Olympics.
Absolutely. And then when you talk about, say, the match against Germany, though India lost, and I would agree with you that it was perhaps India's best performance. Uh, Complete cat out of the bag was the high ball, which India were playing repeatedly, and it looked like Germany were completely rattled. I mean, you saw it in some of the reactions when they scored. They knew how much it meant. Of course, there was a little bit of traditional German showboating, but apart from
Correct.
that, I think they knew they were in a contest and a half.
Yeah, the way India started the game, I think within 4 to 5 minutes, I was discussing once again with a couple of people. One of them said, "Aaj to le lega." That was
Mm.
the the thought that came to my friend's mind, and we were literally running rings around them. Hardik Singh, see, I don't know what he has against Germany, but he always performs really well against the German team. He was top class. Defense, be it Germanpreet, be it Harmanpreet, despite having one player less, the way the India was defending, the way India was attacking, the way India was shifting from attack to defense and defense to attack, that was truly remarkable. Um, uh, Actually, Germany didn't have an idea, what to do, how to, manage this Indian team, how to score against them. But somehow, Gonzalo Peña, he's the best track flicker. I would say he's still better than Harmanpreet Singh. So he did it, and the confidence of Germany team increased. India suddenly felt okay, they can lose this match, and yeah, uh, we had one last moment with just seconds to go, but it was not our day. But despite that best performance, I mean, that's the best performance India has given.
And you touched upon Harmanpreet before we talk about maybe the Spain match, and we'll limit that since you were not able to watch it live. Harmanpreet's performance, not just as a drag flicker but also as captain, as a defender, was quite impressive in this entire campaign. And again, just to give perspective to maybe regular sports fans who may not, who may perhaps follow cricket around the year, it's a bit like the Indian cricket team situation with Jasprit Bumrah, except that this was like Jasprit Bumrah bowling pretty much every 50, all the 50 overs, because there was no other drag flicker. There was Amit Rohidas, and India did go to him a couple of times, but largely it was all down to Harmanpreet. And to be fair, of course, all his 10 goals didn't come from PCs. A few of them were penalty strokes as well. But that just tells you that he really shouldered that burden quite beautifully.
Yeah, before the start of the tournament and months leading up to it, the only question I had was, will India go with one PC expert, or will India go with two PC experts? So they just went with Harmanpreet. Rohidas hasn't taken a lot. Sanjay hasn't taken a lot of penalty corners. So I was worried, you know, and that was also showing in the, if you look at the data available to us right now, we see current rate, based on the current rate, 25 to 27% is what is the expected PC rate, the conversion rate. We were pretty low. We were somewhere in 13%, when the tournament started. But it was Harmanpreet who was गेम्स निकाल रहा था हमारे लिए, वो मैच
Hmm.
वो निकाल रहा था, बी इट न्यूजीलैंड, बी इट आयरलैंड, वो ही वाज टेक ही वाज
The
गेटिंग दोस
equalizer
गोल्स
against
फॉर अस.
Argentina, उसने
या
भी
इक्वलाइजर
उसमें
अगेंस्ट,
भी
या
उसी ने मारा था.
करेक्ट, तो वो इंडिया के लिए मैच निकाल रहा था, भले ही हम लोग. एंड वन मोर थिंग वाज, इंडिया न्यू इट्स द ड्रॉबैक्स, इंडिया को अपने ड्रॉबैक्स पता थे.
Hmm.
They knew, okay, we have good strikers, we have Abhishek, we have Sukhjit, but the goals were not coming. तो क्या करना है, हरमनप्रीत को पेनल्टी कॉर्नर देना है. So they did everything from their end, the forward line did everything to from their end to ensure that हरमनप्रीत के पास मौका है. And you know Coach Fulton also trusted this guy, going with only one expert. While if you look at all the teams in the tournament, they have gone with 2 to 3 experts. This guy went with one expert, and this guy responded as you were saying. His captaincy, he kept his team calm after that event with Amit Rohidas. He kept, he ran the entire defense, though he was very well supported by German Preet and Amit Rohidas. He was sending those long balls, he was sending those aerial passes, he was doing all those things. uh, I think we talk about, Srijesh taking the burden of this team. Obviously, we'll come back to Srijesh, but for this tournament, everything was on his shoulders, and he delivered very well.
Yeah, some other players that we'll chat about as well before we go through to Srijesh. A lot of good performances, I thought, from some of the defensive players or the players in midfield, to be more specific.
Mm,
Hardik was outstanding, as you mentioned. We just saw
mm,
a completely different version of Hardik, the way that he was carrying the ball, especially against
mm,
Germany.
mm.
Manpreet Singh, I thought, had a few great games, playing a more withdrawn role, more of a defensive
Withdrawn
role.
role, yeah.
Raj Kumar was outstanding. Sumit had a few good games.
Mm,
Abhishek, I thought, sort of started very brightly, but just petered off in the last few matches. But his
mhm.
contribution, nevertheless, was quite significant. So lots of positives if you think about it, because a lot of
Uh,
these players were playing their first Olympics.
yeah. So one thing that India has done over last few years, no, we have gotten much more smarter players. You
Hmm.
just spoke about Hardik, you spoke about Rajkumar, you spoke about Sumit. They are very smart players, डर नहीं लगता. So
Hmm.
a few months before the last World Cup, right, I was speaking to the Belgium communications manager, and he told the reason why Belgium is succeeding is they're not afraid. They have not seen losses like our earlier generation saw. So that is something similar that I saw with this team. Rajkumar Pal, he came in with pro league on his back. Hardik Singh, when he came in, he saw win a bronze medal in the last Olympics. So a lot of team players that came in this time were not afraid of the oppositions. Earlier, Australia आती थी तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया है you would somewhere डरोगे थोड़ा, but this team didn't. You spoke about the performances, right? Hardik, he started off slow. He was not visible in couple of games, but suddenly he sprang to life in the game against Australia, in the game against GB and Germany. Same with Rajkumar Pal, Abhishek. So when he started, right, Abhishek, so what I saw from him in this tournament was he was hitting from top of the D, or they were not going in. So I was like, why isn't he going in? Why is this guy not going inside with the ball and trying to do something else? But then he suddenly scored 2 goals in 2 games, and then it worked. So I would say India did peak at a very great time in the game against Belgium, Australia, GB, and Germany. Uh, Indian team was not peaking. They were not doing well in the Pro League. I don't know if you have seen the results of the Pro League. We were not doing so well. We were really struggling, but they knew what their drawbacks were. They knew what their strengths were. Credit to Fulton that he took their strengths and he amplified it. Uh, he knew that he hasn't doesn't have a lot of goal scoring power up front, so he packed his defense. I know his style is very defensive, but it was a perfect tournament for me. I
Yeah.
know we
Yeah.
have only won bronze, but it was a perfect tournament for me. Better than this 2020 Olympics.
Absolutely. I was just about to come to that. That if you compare it with Tokyo, what happened there, of course, was India had that 7-1 defeat against Australia early on. Then they
Mm,
started, reviving. Then they had a few,
mm,
if one can call it that. Of course, there are no light matches in world hockey anymore, but slightly lighter opponents. This one was more
mm.
challenging because you had the relatively, lower ranked opposition early on. Once you got past Ireland, then you had, the real tournament beginning with
Real
Belgium,
tournament beginning,
Australia,
yeah.
and not at one stage did India look like they were throwing in the towel. And to beat Australia in itself, which it just seems to be India's bogey team across every sport. So to have beaten them, that was a huge thing as well. However, you rightly said there are still some improvement areas. The striking, for one thing. Looking forward, I don't want to look too far ahead to LA 2028, because that's 4 years. 4 years is a long time in world sport. Let's just look
Mm-hmm.
ahead to 2026, because that's going to be a packed year. There's the Men's Hockey World Cup, there's the Asian
Mm-hmm.
Games, there's the Commonwealth Games. So, what are some of the things which still need questions which need answers? One major answer, of course, requires one would have expected maybe some sort of game time for Krishan Pathak, but was it more down to the sentiment that Srijesh played every minute, or was it just Fulton didn't want to take a chance?
So Pathak played very well in the Pro League.
Mm.
These both these Srijesh and Pathak were playing each quarters. They were playing two
Yeah,
quarters
correct.
every match.
Yeah.
So the way Pathak has performed since last Olympics has, he has added more points to his game. His range was an issue. He recovered from that, and now he has a good range. But I think what went for Srijesh is the way he performed in the shootouts. You know, there were a couple of shootouts that we have in the Pro League. Uh, so Srijesh was exceptional over there. Uh, we won those shootouts. I think one was against Argentina. After seeing that Argentina shootout in the Pro League, I was sure that Srijesh is going to go. I wanted Pathak to play because he has done really well. But after watching that shootout, I have said there is no way that Pathak is going to go in instead of Srijesh. So that's not going to happen. So yes, we have a good. When you're talking about 2026, we have a good replacement for Srijesh, you know, which is Pathak. There could be probably there could be couple of more players who might make their way out of the team. Uh, I It could be Lalit, it could be Rohidas, and I think it could even be Manpreet. That
Hmm.
you know they might go out now, they might retire. So that's where we have to strengthen. One area that we really need to strengthen is providing some support to Harmanpreet Singh. Uh, what we saw in the World Cup was he lost his form. He couldn't score goals, and there was no one else scoring for India.
Yeah.
So that could have gone bad in this Olympics as well. Fortunately, it did not. But that opens up a space for one more penalty corner expert. That is what I would see. Midfield, I think, is pretty set. Even if Manpreet goes off, we have the guys like Rajkumar. We have
Vivek.
Sumit,
Yeah.
Vivek.
Yeah.
Hardik, they
Hardik.
are doing
Yeah.
pretty well. They are doing pretty well. Uh, Coming onto the front line, as I said, Lalit, he did not have a great tournament this time, so there could be a replacement for him. Uh, Now, with Lalit moving out, we need someone to support Mandeep now because uh, Mandeep's role has changed from Tokyo to Paris. He is now more of a withdrawn forward, where he is, just supporting the forward line, which is Sukhjeet and Abhishek. So maybe someone to support him is what the team would be looking for right now.
And the it's been a problem with Indian hockey for a while. The over dependence on PC conversion, that was again visible right through this campaign as well. So just something moving forward, which maybe they. I mean, I think you gave a very good concise answer when you said that Fulton did decide to strengthen his defense. So
Hmm.
eventually, it did win them the bronze medal, but it came at the cost of some attacking, cutting edge up front. Is that something that needs to be remedied in time to come?
Uh, I think, see, that's Fulton's style. So if you look at how Belgium is playing, they also play a very compact defensive game and work on counters. So I think if Fulton is going to stay, we are going to work on that. We're going to play the same style of hockey. Yes, a lot of people questioned it before the tournament. We don't have an attack. We are not attacking. We are not attacking. But he proved every one of us wrong again. So hats off to him. So yes, I think he would need some fast legs. He would need some skillful players, who can run at the defense, at the opposition defense, and get more goal scoring opportunities. Yes, that is one area. Field goals. If you look at it, most majority, I think, around 70% of Indian goals came from PC, and penalty stroke. So yes, that's one area he should obviously work on because as we are moving on, the penalty corner conversion rates are falling. Few years ago, it was 30%. Now it is 25 to 27%, and it will continue to fall because the way these defenders are rushing in to stop the ball, I think it's going to reduce more.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, some of the teams were outstanding at their PC defense. And speaking of defense, let's come to the big man himself, PR Srijesh. Prophetic words after the game against Great Britain. He said that when I went onto the pitch today, I just said that no, I'll give myself two more games. I'm not
Hmm.
going out at this stage. And that proved to be a hell of a performance because not just him, the entire Indian defense, the way that they defended against Great Britain, were coming in waves every minute. It seemed like it was just the ball was with the British players and they were attacking, and to repel them, to pull off the kind of saves he did even today, right at the end, denying Spain with a couple of
Hmm.
penalty corners. So just I mean, sum it up. I think, is it fair to say he's the greatest ever sports person from Kerala?
I would say
Fair
so.
shout. Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. See, in this tournament, it didn't look like Srijesh is 36. He looked like
Yeah.
he's 26. The way he was jumping on those balls, the way he was saving those, he made some great, great, great saves. And see, the goals that he conceded, some of the goals he did save that, but the ball fumbled and went inside.
Yeah.
So I would not, call out Srijesh for that, but the way he was defending, way he was saving, I think he can play for 2 more years if he wants to. I think nobody's going to stop him from that. But he turned the clock, he turned the clock back. Uh, he was, he knew where his defenders were. He knew the saves that he had to make, and yes, he was equally supported by his defenders. But I'm very happy for him that he's going away with another medal, a medal that he surely deserves. I hope he sticks with the game. Maybe becomes a goalkeeping coach or something. Starts his own academy, preferably in Kerala if he wants. But I think he has still a lot to give to Indian hockey.
You have been following Indian hockey for a long time. You've spoken to a lot of people. I myself have, covered it both as a
Mm,
broadcaster and then as a reporter. Something which even the experts keep saying is one thing they worry about is the lack of spread now of Indian hockey, and to an extent, even that was visible if you look at this particular squad as well. That a lot of players come from certain traditional powerhouses. So
mm.
how do we does this second bronze medal hopefully spark an interest across India? Does it bring in a little bit of interest from, of course, we know there are traditional pockets. There is Punjab, there is the Chota Nagpur belt. Does it maybe excite a kid in Bengal, excite a kid in Bangalore, excite a kid in Kerala, as you mentioned? Or how do we make sure that gospel of hockey spreads a bit more? Because at the end of the day, it is still a sport which is it's very close to the Indian heart and psyche, but it's still not at par with some of the other sports which have really leapt far ahead in recent years.
See, first I was surprised you took Bangalore's name. It will take at least 2 hours to reach the stadium. From where I stay, it will take me 2 hours to reach the stadium. If
No,
I
I
even have
should, at
to.
this point, I should tell you, I play a lot of five-a-side football here in Bangalore, and there's one friend of ours whose name is Rahul. So he's very good at rolling with the ball. So we actually call him Rahul the Roller. So one day he was
Okay.
talking about how he started, and he played at St. Joseph's, and he played hockey. So that immediately made sense to me because he's your classical tip-in kind of striker. And I immediately got chatting with him about hockey. And yes, five-a-side football is basically just playing hockey with your leg, because
Leg.
you're essentially just controlling the ball, you're just rolling
Ball.
into
Yeah, yeah,
spaces, and you're just waiting for the ball to come across and just like deflect it into goal. So I think Bangalore has, of course, had a great hockey culture. And again, that's what I'm curious to know, that how do we revive this culture again?
I think there should be more spread of international tournament is what I think in India.
Sure,
So,
sure.
we have a pocket right now which is in Odisha, and I'm not against them. They have done a lot for hockey. They have put in a lot of money, lot of efforts for hockey. They deserve it, but there was a possibility of moving at least something outside Odisha. Maybe now with Hockey India League starting, now I understand that there are going to be three cities in which it's going to play. But
Mhm.
what they need to do is they need to move out to new cities.
Yeah.
Punjab will be there. You know, uh, someone like Bengal. Bengal has a lot of great. It's a great hockey culture. It has a great hockey history, but people don't know about it. Baton Cup, which is the oldest running tournament in hockey, I don't know how many of our youngsters today know about it. So if we spread it across, spread international hockey across different places, uh, it would be very easy. I think we had Asian Champions Trophy in Chennai last year, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong. I don't know. Yeah, so there were a lot of fans in Chennai who wanted to visit that. I being one of them. I wanted to visit Chennai to watch hockey. So it if it's spread out, it becomes very easier for people to follow. Now, to give you an example, Bangalore BFC is a big name in Bangalore. You know how mad people are for BFC. If you have something similar in hockey for Bangalore, I'm pretty sure people will go for that. Pretty sure people will. I know it's a 5,000 seater stadium in Bangalore, but though it will be filled with 5,000 people. So it needs to spread across in different places, is what I feel.
Yeah, so it seems that we are doing quite well because I'm getting a lot of requests from people wanting to join our broadcast, but blame it on my technical inability. I'm not able to do that, and it's probably not a great idea because I really don't know what you're going to say. So
Mm,
it'll always be better if you first comment.
mm.
However, this has been good fun, and as we leave, it's just about 15 minutes to go for, or about 25 minutes to go for Neeraj Chopra. Excited
Okay,
about that,
yeah,
Jimmy, because I just saw a tweet from a ex-colleague who mentions that um, across France, people are beginning to sort of wish her luck because they've identified that she comes from the same land as Neeraj Chopra. So that talks about marketability of a star. Once you perform,
star.
yeah, absolutely, he's a superstar, and who knows, he might go for a second goal today.
I saw his qualification. I think it
Yeah,
was yesterday or day before yesterday. I don't.
couple of days
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
couple of days back. He came. He took his first throw and he went off. I mean, uh, he was so calm. He was so cool. He was so chilled about his performance. And I mean, that guy is a genuine star. The way he speaks with media, I remember one of his comments. Yeah, आपका 90 meters भी तो करना है, and
Hmm.
like how he thinks about everyone. I think I know we have a Virat Kohli's, we have a Sachin Tendulkar, but for someone who follows hockey and non-cricketing sports, he is our hero. Neeraj
Hmm.
Chopra is our hero, and I really hope we have had a lot of bad luck in this Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of fourth place finishes. What happened with Dinesh? That was painful. That was very cruel. But I hope this guy gets us another gold medal, and that's what I would be hoping for.
Yeah, so this has been, chatting with Jimmy Bhogal of Give Me Hockey. I hope Give Me Hockey comes back, and so does Srijesh, because it's the world is a lot better place when you guys are all involved in hockey, and it is such a sport which is so close to our heart. I hope you've enjoyed having this chat, and maybe we can do this going forward. That'll be
Sure.
our little humble contribution into making hockey a bit more popular. Because I know for a fact that there are many people watching who were looking forward to this just to analyze, what went
Hmm.
right, what went wrong. And I'd completely agree with you that at the start of this Olympics, India ranked seventh. Few would have given them a chance of coming away with a medal, let alone making the semi-final. They did it the hard way. They beat Australia along the way, which was a huge, box ticked. And even in the two defeats that they had, the ones which went against them, they were outstanding. The way that they played against Belgium as well as Germany. Germany, as you rightly pointed out, perhaps their best performance. Thanks so much, Jimmy, and thanks to everybody who joined in as well. And we look forward to your company once again the next time there is something related to hockey. And one more thing I'll add, I'm sure I'll get in a quick comment from you. Looking ahead to LA 2028, not just for the men, but also for the women, not just to qualify, but also finish on the podium.
Yes, we have our old Harendra Singh back. I
Yes,
have huge expectations from him. It's a new team. The team is he's building the team right now. We will be ready for in 2028. I just hope we don't have to face another Alison Hennen. I can't face her. I mean, she first with Netherlands, now with China. I mean, she is the goat of women's hockey today. But yeah, thank you, Deban. Thank you for having me. It was great fun. Hopefully, we'll do it again.
absolutely. Thanks for watching, and thank you again, Jimmy.